Welcome to Mother-Daughter Projects. I'm Vicki. Today it's time to clean my table fans. I use fans in my primary bedroom to circulate air when I sleep, and a second fan in the bathroom to help remove moisture after a shower. With the heavy use they've gotten over the years, they were due for a good cleaning. Here are some of the tools and cleaning supplies I'm going to use, including a new paintbrush as well as a crafting pipe cleaner. First, look online to try to find a manual with cleaning instructions for your particular fan. Make sure you search for your model number. I originally thought I had the correct manual, but when I got started, I realized it did not line up with the fan I had. When I found the correct manual, it said my fan could not be opened to be cleaned, but I proceeded anyway. I started by removing the screws on the back of the fan. As I removed them, I put them in this magnetic screw holder so I didn't lose any. It was actually really easy to take the front off to remove it for cleaning. Ugh, so much dirt and dust. You don't want this stuff circulating into your living spaces. I took the front of the fan into the kitchen and washed it with warm water and a squirt of Dawn and washed it down with a microfiber cloth. I used an old toothbrush and a paintbrush to get into the smaller areas. I went ahead and dried it with another microfiber cloth to avoid water spots. Then I let it continue to air dry as I worked on the rest of the fan. I used a pair of rubber grip pliers to loosen the nut holding the fan blades. I held the fan blades in place while I loosened the nut. Take note of the orientation of the blades and where the washers go back on. You'll need this information when you reassemble. It's also very helpful to take pictures along the way to refer back to. I also washed this in the sink and then dried it well with the microfiber cloth. Okay, now for the really dirty part that is hard to clean. I'm using a Swiffer cloth, canned air, a paintbrush, and other tools to clean the body of the fan. Make sure you wear a mask for this portion. I started wiping the interior with a Swiffer cloth. It quickly got very dirty. A little canned air helped to blow away dust that had been loosened in the first wipe down. Don't blow canned air directly into the motor as you don't want to push dust into it. The paintbrush helped to loosen even more dust and debris, and a vacuum working in tandem with the brush was very effective. There was still a little bit of hard to remove dust on the opening, so I folded a pipe cleaner in half and worked it into the small areas. Again, I use a vacuum in tandem with the pipe cleaner. You can buy these in the craft department if you're not familiar with these. After cleaning the inside of the front, I turned it around to work on the back side. I gently worked that paintbrush on the screens to the motor to unclog them. More vacuuming and I was able to get most of the dust without harming the delicate screens. Most of the dust was removed by working on the front side, so a little bit of dusting was all that it needed. Now to reassemble, I just reversed what I did to take it apart. I added the blades, which needed the slightest gentle push to seat it properly on the shaft. I added the washer and then the nut. I hand tightened the nut and then used the pliers to secure it fully. It was originally not on there very tight, so I didn't over tighten it. I set the front in place and turned the entire thing over and then added the screws back in place. And look, it still works! And it's no longer spreading dust and dirt everywhere. Next is this small air circulator I use in the bathroom. Again, the instructions I downloaded were not this model, so I just started removing the screws to take it apart. When all the screws are removed, it comes apart in 3 pieces. Well, 4 if you count the main body. With the front cover removed, you can see how much gunk there is inside. I washed this in the same way as I did the other fan. Warm water and a little Dawn dishwashing liquid. I used warm water as opposed to hot as I didn't know if the hot water would damage the plastic parts. While those parts were drying, I headed back to the garage to work on the body. The fan blades were removed the same way as I did on the black fan. I used the same tools to clean the inside of this fan, taking special care not to damage the exposed mechanics of the motor. These little fins on the back were particularly difficult to clean, but I did manage to get them clean with the assortment of tools I used. I did end up using a damp microfiber cloth to thoroughly clean these. Once everything was clean and dry, it was time to reassemble. The blades went on first, which was easy, but the rest was a little bit of a challenge. It was difficult to get the handle back in place, add the collar, and then put the screws back in. Before turning it over, I put the gray piece back in place. Take note of the orientation of the handle to be sure you're putting it back the right way. I almost got the gray piece put in upside down. Now just add back the screws. I plugged it in, and yes, this one still works too. I'm very happy to have these clean again. They will be much more efficient, and there's no dust that will blow out and foul the air. Even though the instructions for these two said you couldn't do what I did, they were too dirty not to take the chance to clean them. Thanks for joining us. If you want to see more projects, please visit us at motherdaughterprojects.com and like and subscribe. Bye.